What is up, my fellow prod coders? Welcome to this video, and today we are going to finish where we left off. So we were just about to create this blue component here, and this is our top navigation bar. So we need this horizontal nav bar where we have a left part and where we have a right part. And what we currently have is this. So one parent div and then two child divs. And the question is, what CSS do we have to apply in order to make it look like in the screenshot? And the answer to that is Flexbox, of course. So Flexbox is a pretty cool layouting system. It's pretty recent actually. And I would highly recommend to go to this website, to csstricks.com. They have a pretty nice visual guide on how it works. So they explain everything here. So if you don't quite remember what it is, please check it out. It's basically explaining how Flexbox lays out its items. So let's just directly get started and go back to our CSS file, create a new class and say top nav. And then we're going to say display flex. Okay, so now all items should be aligned horizontally if we do that. Now, of course, we have to apply this CSS class. So styles from top nav.module.css. So let's just import the styles. And then all we have to do is we have to say, okay, this div is going to be to have this class, the one that we just created. And now everything should be horizontal. Okay, so that's pretty decent, I would say. Well, we only have one problem. It's just doesn't look right. I mean, there's no left and there's no right part. It's not separated. It's just one big chunk. And what we can do here, we can search for justify content. And this is a little trick that I typically do to float things to the left and to float things to the right. So if you say justify content, what it will do is it will maximize the space between all flex items. And if you only have two flex items, like we have right now, well, what will happen? One item will be completely on the left and the other item will be completely on the right. So this is pretty cool. Let's do this. So let's go here and let's just say justify content space between. Yes. Now you can see at least we have a left part and we have a right part. So we are more or less getting there. The only thing that is super annoying right now is that the spacing kind of looks off. So there's just no spacing in between the items. And this is what we are going to tackle next. And in order to do that, what we will do is we are going to say, we are going to create a CSS class. We're going to say left. And then we're going to say every direct descendant of an item that has the class left is going to have a margin right of 1.5 rem. Let's put it like this. And only the direct descendant. And we're going to do the same for the right part. So but this time around we're going to say margin left is 1.5 rem. And then we're going to apply this class. We're going to say this is styles.left. So this is the left part of our layout, and we're going to say this is styles.right. Let's see. That looks much better. Now there's just one thing here right now. So this is only text, and over here we have a button and we have text, and it kind of looks off. So the left item we have is currently not aligned with the right item. And in addition, the right item is not aligned within itself, but we're going to handle that in a second. And vertical alignment itself used to be like a pretty hard issue in CSS, but with Flexbox, it's super easy. There is something called align items. And here you have a visual summary of what each property does. So if you say flex start, it's going to glue the items to the top, basically. If you say flex end, it's going to glue the items to the bottom. But what we actually want to use here, we want to use center. So if we go back to our code and then we say, okay, right here, we're going to say align items center. And you can see like we have a little bit of spacing. So that means this div here is now aligned vertically with this div, but the div on the right here is still not vertically aligned. But this is pretty easy to do as well, because we can just use the exact same approach. So we're just going to say right, we're going to make this a flex container. And then we're going to say align items center. Okay, let's see how good we are. Let's go back. That looks much better than before. But we should still have at least a little bit of spacing like to the top here. So now we're at least vertically aligned, but we should just have a little bit more spacing to the top. So what can we do? We can say here maybe margin 1.5 rem. Okay. That looks much more like this blue thing here. That looks pretty good. Of course, one thing we still need to do is right now it's going to expand, like the div is taking all the width that it can get, but it should actually have like a max width, but we're going to take care of that later on. So right now we're pretty much done with this component. There's just one thing we could do. So you can see we have quite a lot of magic numbers here, and it's always the same, like 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. And there's a new feature in CSS. It's called Css Variables. So we can say element spacing 1.5 rem. This was like a feature that was requested a lot. So you can say, okay, I'm going to declare a variable and it's called element spacing, and the value is 1.5 rem. And if you want to use that, you can just say var -- element spacing. And this is super nice because later on, if you want to refactor or like change the spacing for whatever reason, then all you have to do is you need to change this the value of this variable. So right now, yeah, it should still look the same. Okay, that's pretty nice. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for the top bar at least. Let's see what changes we have. Okay, so we did changes to the app.js file. And we also have modified our index, and we have the landing page, and we also have this top nav thing, which is currently not added in. So we can say git add -a, and we can say git commit -m. What's the commit message? Add top nav, maybe. Yeah, and later we can push that. So that's pretty good. So thank you very much for watching. In the next tutorial, we will be doing the other components that are still left, and we will continue and move on with our tutorial. So we have to do the green thing, we have to do the red thing, and we have to do this purple thing. Thank you very much for watching. Please make sure to first of all commit this and to push this, and to give the video a thumbs up and to subscribe if you haven't already done so.